So, here we go. This is 1.2. Anything in this note taker can be on your quiz on Friday. Okay? So, what? I'm on the first page.
Oh, I had it on back.
Okay, here we go. The first fill in the blank. We are talking about line segments. Line segments. We already learned. Bless you.
Oh, that's scary.
We already learned about line segments. But this is the formal definition for it. Okay? The thing about line segments is that it has two end points. Because remember, it ends. It's not a line. Here's how, remember we use this symbol? That's a line segment. Okay, that's an example of one. Now, we have to learn how to measure using two different units. The first unit we're using is centimeters. You have to put centimeters or whatever unit we're using on the end. If you just put 1.5, I don't know what you're talking about. Okay? I do take off. I do take points off.
He's going to take off or just not get any?
I take half for this test. Okay? All right, so here's line segment AB. And what unit are we using? Centimeters. So we need to seriously, all we're doing is measuring this line segment. Well, 2, and then look, it goes down right at the half. So this segment is 2.5 centimeters. Now, Miss Jenkins, I like to write it like this. Can I write 2.5? Sure.
Oh, good.
Okay. Everybody good so far? Okay. All right, that's the first one. Second thing we're doing, this is a pentagon, but we're measuring in centimeters. Okay? But how many little lines or how many little different pieces are in a centimeter? 10. Okay? We can count these as tens. So I know that goes 3 whole, right? 3. And then it goes how much more than 3? 1. But it's out of 10. So this is measured as 3 1/10. I'm getting there. 3 1/10, right? Or that's the same thing as 3.1. Not in centimeters because there's 10 of them. Now, you're counting 8. Is that what it is? But if you actually count the spaces, there's 10 of them. Because you have to count this second, this 2 right here, you have to count this one and the third. So that would be 10.
Wait, we count the spaces?
Yeah, you count the spaces. You see, like if you count, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? And that right here, it only went over 1/10. All right, what's our next unit that we're using? Inches. Now, if you look at 1 and 2, excuse me, 1 and 2, the rulers look a lot different. This one, there are 4 spaces, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So you count it in fourths. So this is 1 and 1, what? 4 inches. You see it because it went 1 whole inch. You see? 1 whole. And then it went 1 space. But you see how many, Tyreek, you see from 0 to 1, how many spaces are there? 4. So we're counting this one in fourths. Okay, so it only went 1 extra, so it's 1 1/4. Yes, Michael?
Okay, so how would you do that if you're doing the point thing?
1.25, yeah.
Wait, why 2.5?
Because 1 divided by 4 is 0.25. That's
Quarter of.
25. Alright, never mind. I'm doing it the other way now.
Alright. Number 2. There's a lot, look, from 0 to 1. 0 to 1. Same inch. There's a whole lot more lines down on number 2, aren't there?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. But the main points are still there. Here's the fourth. You see how it can also be broken down into fourths? They just put those in there to show you that you can count it using 16. So in inches, from 0 to 1, there are 16 spaces. Okay? But how many spaces do you count from 1 to here? How many spaces? 4. Well, 4 divided by 16 reduces to 1/4. Or you can know that this went over a fourth, so we're measuring this one 1 1/4 inch. Same thing. Same thing. Is it okay? So it went 1, right? We went 1 whole. How many spaces out of 16? 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Are y'all with me?
Yeah.
But 4 over 16 reduces to 1/4. So big thing here. Big thing to know. Y'all with me? Centimeters are out of tenths. So your number goes here. The number of spaces out of 10. That's for centimeters. So when you're counting centimeters, in the middle, you put the number of spaces out of 10. How many it went. For inches, so for inches, you put the number of spaces over 16. You might have to reduce.
So it just be really ended at 16?
Out of 16. But for the bottom, but do you see this though? 1, 2, 3, 4. You can count this in fourths or in 16 if it has all the little ones. Okay? Yes, Tariq.
So if you count all the spaces up and then you divide by 16?
Yes. But if it doesn't reduce,
You have to,
like 3 over 16 doesn't reduce. You just keep it like that.
So it doesn't matter how many spaces as long as they're over 16.
You have to count the
But
spaces.
for number 1,
Number 1, you can't use 16 because they only gave you fourths. That's why we used 1 space over 4.
okay.
Okay? On number 2, look. Number 2, you see how there's 16 from 0 to 1? Okay, so let's use 16. How many spaces are from 1 to the edge? 1, 2, 3. So that's why I put 4 over 16.
Oh, and then you simplify.
Yes. It's okay. It's all right. I'm just waiting for that light bulb. All right. Here we go. The next page. I want you to try 1 and 2 on your own. Be very careful. 1 is inches. 1 is centimeters. 1 is inches. 1 is centimeters. Try 1 and 2.
But is number 1 right?
Here's your units. How many spaces are mentioned here? So how many extra spaces are there over inches? So we can mark it. All right, let's see what you got. So in number 1, we were using inches. How many spaces are between 0 and 1? 4. So that's what's going to go in the denominator. How many whole inches did I go?
2.
Okay, so that's my whole number. How many extra spaces did I go above 2?
1.
And then my unit is inches. It's okay, it's okay. Okay, here's how I got the 2. How many inches, whole inches, is this pencil? 1, 2. Okay? All right. Now we have a thumbtack. Okay, let's start with how many whole centimeters did I go?
1.
Okay, so my whole number is 1. It's a centimeter. How many spaces are between 0 and 1?
10.
Okay, because it's a centimeter. So in the denominator is 10. Now you need to count how many spaces I went above 1. So if I were you, I would draw a little line.
That's what I did.
I thought it was like,
So let's count them. You ready? Help me count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just 7. And then our units are centimeters. I will also accept 1.7 or 2.25. All right. The next part gets a little bit more in depth, okay? So it's not always going to be just that part. The next section in our notes is called betweenness of points. It's basically talking about points that are in between each other, okay? So here's what it boils down to. Draw a line. Draw a line. Lexi, do you need to come sit right here? Here's a line. All right. Here is point A and point C. Now, B, the letter B, is in between A and C. Just draw it. Put letter B in between A and C. Between, the word between, does not mean middle. It just means somewhere. Okay? So when I say put it between, you don't know where it is. You're just putting it somewhere. Okay? So, now, Alexia, what's your favorite candy bar? Hershey's? Okay, like a Hershey's bar? Okay, anybody else like Hershey's? I like them on s'mores. Yeah. Okay, so we have a Hershey's bar, okay? If I have half of a Hershey's bar and another half, and I add them together, how many do I have?
A whole.
A whole. Okay, I have a fourth. Here's a fourth of a Hershey's bar, and I have 3/4. When I add them together, what's it make?
A whole.
A whole. So if I take AB, write this down. If I take segment AB, don't forget your symbol on top. Segment AB, and I add it to segment BC, guess what it gives me?
A, B, C.
Which I can also just write as AC. So basically the whole point of this is I'm taking one part of the segment and another part of the segment and adding it together. Is everybody with me? This is also called segment addition postulate. Whoops, we're not on. Segment addition postulate. It's not one word, it's 3. All right, let's put it to use. So, in number 1, everybody got segment addition postulate? Okay. Number 1, I have a segment. Now, I need you to write, I'm going to make this harder than it actually is for just a second because I need you to grasp the concept, okay? So, is it true, write this with me, that segment RS, this piece right here, if I take this piece and I add it with this piece, this piece and this piece, when I add them together, it gives me the whole thing, which is RT. Okay, that's the formula. So when I say write the formula, that's what I mean. That's your formula for the segment addition postulate. Okay, now we're going to substitute in the numbers we know. Well, I know that RS is how long? 2.0. So instead of writing RS, write 2.0. You don't have to write the units on this as long as you write it on the answer, okay? So I don't mind if you leave it out, but you have to put it in the answer. So our S is 2.0. How long is ST?
2.5.
Very nice.
So that means the whole thing.
Yes, add them together. 2 plus 2 is 4. 0 plus 5 is 5.5. So, RT, this right here, this is what you are finding. That's what it wanted you to find. There we go. Centimeters. Please get in the habit of boxing or circling or underlining your answer.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Thank you.
Hold on. So you just added.
So I just added them together. But here's the reason why I'm making you write the formula. You're not always just going to have to add 2. Here, in number 2, they gave us the whole thing, and we have to find the other little piece. Okay, put your head up. Okay, so let's write the formula for number 2. Let's write the formula. Same concept, different letters. This segment, AB, plus segment, BC, is equal to what? That little part, AB, plus BC, is equal to
AC.
AC. So from top to bottom, AC. Okay, now let's substitute it in. This, I know you can't tell very well, that's 2 3/4. So instead of writing AB, 2 3/4. Do I know BC? No, so just leave it the same. Just leave it as BC. And then I know AC, the whole thing, is 5. Well, what are we finding? BC. So this is just an equation. Not divide yet. Subtract, because this is a whole thing, Tyreek. This is a whole number, okay? So if I want to get BC by itself, I need to move this to the other side. Well, it's positive now, so subtract it. It's just an equation. Yep. So, segment BC is equal, we have to subtract 5 minus 2 3/4. Think about it. Round this up to 3. Okay, so it's 5 minus 3. 2. So now I have 2 whole. 2 whole. And then I'm subtracting a 3/4 from a whole. So how much is left? What is that in a fraction? 1/4. Okay, so that's your answer. What unit did we use? Inches. We're getting into some math now, aren't we? It's not just naming stuff. Okay? Alright, let's go to the back. Okay, you see these dashes right here? How many is on each side? 2. Now, here's the thing about these dashes. If they both have the same amount, which they do, that means that they are equal. They're the same. They're congruent. So I know the whole piece is 6, right? And it's split into 2 equal pieces. So how much is each one? 3. So segment WX is equal to how many centimeters?
3.
This whole thing is 6.
So 3.
And these 2 dashes tell me that both of these are the same. So 6 divided into 2, that means each one is 3 centimeters. Alright, if you zoned out, I need you to zone back in. Okay? Alright, so stand up, stretch. Whatever you need to do, because it's about to get serious.
Are we standing up?
You can say that. Sure.
It seems weird how you get this.
What, Tyreek? Okay, we're going to keep practicing. All right, here we go. Y'all ready? K, open. Oh, never mind. Is it open? No.
Oh.
All right, here we go. Michael, sit down. Because you're like the furthest one besides Katie from the door. All right, here we go. Let's put this, what we just learned, to use. Okay? Are you with me? Be with me. Be with me. All right, so the problem says we need to find the value of x. So I circle that because that's what I need to find. I need to find x, and I need to find BC. If B is between C and D, so I need to draw a line. Which one's in the middle?
B.
B, which means C and D are on the other side. B, so B's in the middle because it says B is between C and D.
But you said between doesn't always mean middle.
It doesn't mean middle, but it means in between them. Okay? Now, number 1. CB is 2x. So, above CB, write 2x. And BD is 4x. So, I like, you see how I'm breaking it into like different little pieces? Then this is a typo. It's supposed to say CD. CD. So I know this piece, and then the whole thing is 12. Okay, this is the last time I'm going to make you write the formula. Let's write it one more time, and then I'll let you skip it, okay? So, this segment, which is called what? CB. So let's write CB plus segment BD is equal to the whole thing,
CD.
start to finish, CD. Okay, all we did was write the formula. Now let's take what we know and plug it in. Well, I know CB is 2x. So 2x Damien, how much is BD?
4.
Damien. 4x. Day, how long's the whole thing? 12. Now look at that formula.
Got the answer?
Oh my goodness. This isn't the answer, but haven't we been solving equations like this since last week in our math workshops? Yes. These are on the same side of the equal sign. So don't do the opposite. Combine your like terms. What's 2 plus 4? 6. So 6x equals 12. Divide. Nice. Divide by 6. So x is equal to 2. We're not done.
Yeah, but you gotta find B, C.
Right. We have to find BC, remember? That's why I circled it up there. So that's one of our answers. So I'm going to circle it. Tariq is too excited about this math right now.
This is so easy.
BC. Remember our x was 2. BC is 2x. Well, instead of writing x, write 2. So 2 times 2 is 4. Did they give us a unit? No.
So how you did multiply it?
2 times 2, because we needed to find BC, right? BC is 2x.
Right.
Right. So 2 times 2 is 4.
Really multiply the stuff.
Yeah. All right. This is the last thing we're learning, okay? So we're just going to keep practicing. So let's do number 2. We're using the same setup, okay? But let's redraw our line so you can rewrite the new numbers. So same setup, but they're different numbers. So CB is 4x minus 9. This little part from here to here. And then B to D is 3x plus 5. And then the whole thing is 17. Now, aren't we just adding these two and setting it equal to the whole thing? So we already wrote our formula up here. We already wrote our formula. So I'm not going to make you write it again, but plug those in. So CB is first, so I'm going to write 4x minus 9 plus BD is next. So I'm going to write 3x plus 5. And it all equals 17. Solve it. Yep. Go ahead. Remember, combine like terms first. Okay, so y'all keep going. Y'all combine 4x and 3x makes 7x. So 4 plus 3 is 7. Negative 9 plus 5 is negative 4. Okay, keep going. Solve for x and then plug it back in. Divided by 7 is what? Now plug it back in. Okay. Yes, that's x. You gotta plug it back in. So many at one time. Yes. No.
Oh.
Yes. No.
Okay.
Plug it back in. Yep. Okay. Turn to the back page and start 1 through 5. Yes. Yes. How many that is? Okay. Because that's x and that's e. So don't start with 3 and 3. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. Yes. 1 through 5. 1 through 5 on the back. You see this right here? You see it? Yes. 1 through 5. Come to 0 period if you need extra help. I can get you out of that meeting.